I know it's the strangest meditation bell everywhere, anywhere. So, welcome back. And welcome back to those who have been with us for the better part of this year, and to those who've just jumped in and joined. We've been doing this for quite a few months, this fortnightly returning to what is true, or what is deep, or what is deeper than the superficiality or the distractedness of everyday life, such as we've probably known it. We've covered various sort of I would call them topics, although they've always ended up in the same sort of arena, same sort of deep place. But finally, we've arrived at presence, being here, which is what we always kind of come to, really. So yeah, I want to explore that, and I want to hear from you as well. This is an opportunity. I put these on not just so you can hear yet another person pontificating about all things spiritual or deep, but actually for us to have an honest interaction about where you're at, about how things are going for you. So it's not just it's not a teaching place necessarily, it's a sharing place, but actually it's an opportunity to report from where your spiritual journey is at this moment, in an arena that is honest and true. It doesn't have to be wrapped up, it doesn't have to be strong, it doesn't have to be anything. But there is a need for us to find ways with each other in all sorts of ways of being honest, of being open, of somehow removing the veil that maybe has been cast upon us in various different ways over the years. The commonality that we share. We have individual stories, we have individual wounds, we have individual beliefs, we have individual nuances, like the flowers that grow, but we all share so much in common. And when we stop being so guarded, maybe precious, defended, which was kind of consciously and unconsciously trained to do in the various societies that we grow up in, we tend to mask ourselves in one way or another. I don't mean the recent stuff, I just mean generally, always. We've learned to kind of mask ourselves for protection. And so we live in the past, and we live in the future, and we live in our imaginations, and we live in our thought realm, and we hide our emotions, and we hide our pain, and etc., etc. And the spiritual journey has a way, if we're true about it and sincere in our inquiry, of digging at that stuff, digging at those defended places. There seems to be something in the spiritual journey, at least the honest spiritual journey, that says, no, that's not it. It's time to come out from under the shell. Time to come out from wherever. Hold on. Time to come out from wherever we've been hiding. And there lies the rub again. There lies the journey. Can this openness that certainly Amoda, you all know who Amoda is, my wife and teacher. Is it possible to live in a more open, true way and still exist in the dualistic, seemingly defended world that one might refer to as the Matrix? Are they in opposition to each other? Which, in a way, we seem to have inherited an idea that they're almost in opposition to each other, and that comes from part of the tradition of withdrawal from society that is part of the Eastern tradition, the Indian tradition that says if you want to find yourself, if you want to wake up, if you want enlightenment, you have to turn your back on society. Comes usually in maturity, when you've done your worldly things, and then you can leave the world and go to the monastery or the cave or the woods or somewhere like that. But that's not what we're doing. That's not what's happened in the societies that we're in. We're very much caught in this, the journey, the inquiry of finding that kind of a liberated way of being in the society, so we can bring it into the society, but not get lost in the matrix as maybe we were, or maybe, so that's a question. Is it possible? And I think moving to the title of today's, the title that I've offered up, which is Stay Here, which is about presence. But in my own journey, I've found that of all the things that have become the most powerful on the journey, it's been a long journey, coming back to this, to the simplicity of a kind of presence that hasn't got any flowering around it. We're always, carrying the past, and we're always projecting into the future. And seemingly the reactive, distracted mind loves that. That's where it finds its home. Past, future. Then it's active. It's got a sense of purpose, something to do. And in coming to presence, coming to the simplicity of staying here, even presence has these connotations about it, has a mystery about it, almost points towards the transcendent, something kind of almost mysterious, highly spiritual about it. That's why I don't really, I'm more about staying here. I'd like to speak about just being here. Because in 90% of our problems are solved by being here, prior to anything, prior to sorting out the problem. We have a tendency to go chasing after the problem, whatever that problem may be, emotional, relational, transactional, real world, or anything. We come come to our lives from a distracted place or an involved place or a non-present place, a running around place. I've got to fix this, I've got to solve that, I've got to find this, got to do that. On and on we go. But to the capacity that we have, this simple capacity to be here. And the mind has no conception of what that means, no idea. Because the mind cannot, the kind of ego mind that we're pointed to, can't exist in this place, in real presence, in the staying here-ness of things. That's why so much meditation is seemingly unsuccessful, because the mind's going, what do you want me to do? We sit and I'm going to meditate now. And mind goes, I'm going to go forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. And you go, no, that's not it. We bring it back to this, just this. Oh, I get it. And there's a moment or a few moments of just this presence. And then the mind goes, oh, no, I've got to do something here. Got to do something. So I think what I've come to is the need to cultivate presence. We can't just arrive there. It's not like investigating the wounds of our childhood or the problems in our relationship, or it doesn't really work like that. In its cultivation, how do we cultivate presence? How do we cultivate being here? If it's so easy, if it's so simple, why is it so hard to be in? And what, is there any benefit? And I'm going to ask you, is there any benefit? Is this just is there any purpose in it? Is it useful? I found it useful. I found that, coming from being a very distracted, very mindy, very high thinking person who's always looking out for problems in the world, even if there weren't any. Somehow I'd coming back, the runaway horse, the runaway train of thought. Everybody has it. Everybody has the runaway train. So it's like it needs cultivating in the same way that a horse would need taming, or whatever it is that we need to, that needs habituation to learn it, which we're used to. We do that. That's what we do. We're good learners, most human beings. But when it comes to cultivating presence, I was like, oh, no, that's too much. And I don't mean meditation. I mean this, us. Simple. Being here. Where's mind? Where's mind now? When we that's one of the useful things about coming together. It's an opportunity to just be here now. Mind, I don't know, maybe it's thinking, what's he talking about? Maybe it's thinking back to, what you've got to do afterwards, or what you've done before, or whether this is worth it, or whether you agree or not. That's a great one. We love that one. Well, I agree with it. I agree with that, but I don't agree with that. I want to, and on and on. Who cares whether we agree or not? A lot of the time, yeah, because agreement is this ability that we have with our mind. Very valid. Nobody's getting rid of agreement. But is it, are we slaves to agreement? Because when we're not rooted, when And people aren't rooted. They're not rooted in the silence of their being. I'm sorry. Even in Santa Fe, which is a real spiritual place, they're not rooted in, it's just the same as it is in Chicago or New York or England or down the seaside or Costa Rica or Sweden or Denmark. It doesn't matter. It's the same syndrome. Distracted, opinionated. Don't mean that badly. I've got some very interesting opinions about things myself, but I don't take them, so seriously that I put my life on them, because I found that putting my life on silence, and I'm not putting myself on any kind of pedestal, because I fall off all the time. But I am saying I cultivate it because I've seen, and if I can share anything with you guys, I've seen after 10, 20 years of this ridiculous spiritual journey, and all sorts of entanglements and red herrings, that coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back and failing. We don't like to talk of failure on the spiritual path because we're so used to being trained to be good little boys and good little girls. And so when we bring that into the spiritual path, in our spiritual journey, and when we fail to get it right, I've tried being in presence, I've tried being equanimous, and then I went to see my parents or my boyfriend or somebody down at the supermarket or something triggered me and I lost it, and I've failed somehow. And I go on about failure because I won't have it. I won't have this thing of failing and then that being an indication that we've got it wrong and therefore it's not really worth it, or there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with anybody. There's nothing wrong with anybody. Once we sort of throw away some of these erroneous ideas that you can bring self-beratement onto the spiritual path, you can't get out of that one. You can't self-attack and be on self looking. Yes, but even in all of that, come back. You fall off, you get it wrong. That's why I'm saying this, because it's very difficult to stay seemingly in this presence, in this space, in this moment, in this being here. And it might be easy now, and then we go off and we go to get on with our lives, and they seem to be in opposition to each other. But they're not in opposition to each other, because once you cultivate this being here, where is it? Well, it's not just here, that's for sure. It's not just here. It's not a mindy thing. Despite what mind says, it's this. And that's, this part of the reason that this came up in a way was, I was thinking about these meetings and all the things that we do. And we get a lot of people who want solutions on the journey, want answers on the journey, on all sorts of different levels, emotional answers and physical answers, and what do I do about this and what do I do about that? And they're all good questions because they're all good inquiries. But actually, you can't, I don't know who said that thing, you can't reach the solution without being a true solution, without being rooted in a kind of presence. Presence first, solution second. Presence first, solution second. Be here. Otherwise, we're off and running again. So I'm going to just go round and round. Because in this simplicity, there's a space. In this moment, if we could but fully be here, there is space. There's space in terms of time on the linear, and there's space in terms of depth. Deeper. And that space is not devoid of anything. It's not devoid, despite what the mind might think. It's not just an empty space. It's a space full of kind of information. It's where our intuition is, let's say. It's where our deeper authority is. It's where some of our power is. We've become convinced that power, because it's so badly modeled in the world, generally speaking, our power is, what we imagine as power is modeled by fools, usually disguised as politicians, but that's this dualistic power that we're exploring. Is a kind of natural, the power of natural intelligence, power of the divine, if you like, that informs us, like intuition informs us, but intuition can't inform us unless we're empty, and we can't be empty unless we're here. Like this, simplicity. When there's something going on that we don't like, be here, see, find it, cultivate this. It might seem like, well, it's not coming up with an answer. It's not coming up with an answer. Come back, come back, come back. Maybe the answer's there. Maybe not. But at least there's a sense of equanimousness. I feel like we live in dramatic times. I don't know whether that's just my view, but high drama, high division, lots of division. We know that. So what's the answer to division? To stand on one side or to stand on the other side, or to be in the middle, and then decide from a deeper place. So I would like to open this up for conversation and see if anything stirs within you about anything that I've said. Cultivating presence. Why is it so hard to be here? What stands in the way? What is it that pulls you? What is it that distracts you? What is it that has your attention? What is it that has your attention? I worked out, I was able to see what had my attention, the recurring themes, not just what has my attention today, because what has my attention today tends to be the repetition of a pattern that I've been carrying around for a lot of my life. I saw that I was driven by a sense of insecurity in the sense that I was alert beyond what was kind of what to say, beyond what was comfortable, beyond what was true, was sort of reading danger into situations that actually wasn't there. And I've sort of looked over years at patterns of my life and seen actually it comes from a deep insecurity that I had when I was young, when my family fell apart. And there it was, 40, 45 years later, and I was still carrying around the same insecurity. And no matter where I've been in the world, I've been around a lot of places to get to Santa Fe. And even in spiritual Santa Fe, here I am carrying, I don't actually have it anymore. It's kind of gone because I've seen it. I've seen it. Once seen, we have the choice. Once you see yourself, once you see your patterns, once you see your tendencies, then you've got a real choice. Then you've got to, until you see them, you're chasing them, chasing answers. But once you see your patterns in as honest a way, not self-berating, but as honest a way as you possibly can, then you're faced with a very difficult or considerable choice. Is it real? Is it not real? What am I going to do? What am I going to do if I'm faced with that pattern? I know what I do and did. I just sit here. I say, believe it or not, mind, believe what you want. Make up your stories. Tell me again and again how dangerous it is out there. Tell me again and again that the neighbors shouldn't be making so much noise. Tell me, sorry, Christine. Christine knows that one. Tell me again and again, that you're useless as an artist or a musician. Tell me again and again. They go on and on and on. And I've got the mind of a tormentor. Believe me, it's only ever tormented me. But I've had that, and I'm like, no, that's what staying here is. And that's not trying to silence the mind. I don't do that sort of stuff. Let it run. Say, I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not playing it. What does that mean? You don't argue with it. I can't argue with the one that's, trying to do its business. It's only trying to protect me. Protective mind. So I say, no, I'm staying here. Do what you want. And by, the little dog within me kind of goes, all right. Makes a little less noise, enough for me to kind of breathe a little bit. Because we can't breathe, can we? When it's, when we're lost in this thing, can't breathe, stifled. It's all about being here, is being able to breathe, it's being able to see what's going on, decide what to pay attention to and what not to pay attention to. So I'm going to invite you to interact with me, but first of all, I'm going to read one of these poems. Come back to what is true. Come back to what is true, to what is true in you. Come back to your deepest and stay here while you take some rest. Don't fly away into imagination, whether it's good or bad. Don't lose yourself again in the stories you tell or the stories you hear. Don't clutch and grab at things you think will give you security, or reject and resist things you think are wrong or make you scared. Come back to what is true, to this soft, open moment right here, inside your very breath. Come back to the place of no story, no narrative, no self, just this openness. Let this be your sanctuary, your temple or church, your place of rejuvenation, before you fly away again into mind's incessant waves. Of course, you can also decide never to fly away again, and that may be your greatest longing. So, Floor is open. Oh, easy. And there is a raising hand feature. Hopefully you know about it.
Okay. Hi,
Hi.
Kaveri.
Hi.
Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you good. Yeah.
Thank you for this offering. I'm very happy to be here with all of you.
Good.
Um,
Where are you? Where are you?
I-
In Colorado?
Fort Collins.
Ah,
Yeah. Got snow today,
oh,
our
good.
first snow. Well, I'm experiencing, I'm meeting a deep frozen pain body from childhood. It's been probably some of the most intensive pain I've had. I've been sitting with for a week now. But there's an excitement and about something waking up and being able to meet something that's been so frozen and asleep inside of myself at the same time. And there's been like a scene, it feels like the pain body has been like a really thick vine suffocating my hara, just squeezing it. And you talked about breathing. I I was a severe asthmatic starting at 3 years old. I better take a breath right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like I've been sick my whole life, and I see how this has squeezed out my life force. So I've been really working with the muscles down in here and just doing my best to meet it. And I think I have been meeting it in a way I've never been able to. And I also see that it's it's about safety
Mhm.
and a clenched fist. And I just clenched to survive in childhood. And I don't really know what else to say about it, except that I'm really being with it, and it feels sacred, and it feels like soul retrieval.
Good. Yeah. 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 It is soul retrieval. It's not the esoteric soul retrieval. It's just your very root. Yeah. Retrieving your very root.
Yes.
This is beautiful. I mean, it feels to me like you know. I don't know about saying you know what you're doing, but you certainly are prepared to voyage into that which you has previously been offline.
Yes.
And you can't, I mean, how can we live? We can live, but it's only a half existence without accessing that deeper part of ourselves, because that deeper part of ourselves, as you correctly said, is our power, is your authority. Yeah, this is regardless of who did what. Everybody's got a story, and they're some of them are more dramatic, and some of them are more painful, and some of them are less. But everyone carries it in their own way. But eventually, on the journey of transformation, or whatever we want to call it, we get called to it. We get called to it, and that's why in this teaching, if you like, with Amoda, it's not a philosophy in the sense that it doesn't include the body. Yes, it does include the body. It's an embodied experience, meaning not that it just includes the body, but it actually includes the life, the whole life force, And it's not a new age thing either, because the new age tends to avoid it as well quite a lot. But this is hardcore stuff. Yeah, this is releasing the hara, the tightness of the hara. We were doing a course a few weeks ago, and that was a meditation focused around the hara. Yeah, and because all of these aspects, even if you don't believe in particularly in chakras, there is a movement to us. A connection, a heart. Our voice is connected to our heart. Our heart is connected to our solar plexus. Yeah, our solar plexus is connected deep down into the bowels of us, into our very life force. And for many people, that life force is, It happens in childhood, right? It happens
Mm.
with abuse. It happens in domination, in all sorts of different forms of abuse. It happens, yeah, when little ones are so fragile and vulnerable, and those people who are, you know, who are supposed to take care of us haven't got the capacity, or have a predatorial, or have an authoritarian, whatever it is, yeah. And so we shrink,
Mm.
shrink, and shrinking becomes a protection. And then you get to release it. I mean, I've done rebirthing, I've done primal therapy, I've done, yeah, all of everything. I've done constellation, I've done, you know, mad stuff to release the body, because I was very stuck when I was younger. I had no access to the anger, to the pain inside. And eventually, wow. So this is beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I don't know, I just wanted to kind of ask, I don't even know if it's a question, but something came to me that it's like the wounding. If I can clear the wounding, I'll be home. As much of my identity has been about being a survivor.
Yeah.
And that's where the tightness and closeness is all, you know, and I'm working on letting go of defenses and all of that. Openness, being here now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without presence. I absolutely could not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it takes you to the same place. It's not a goal. If it's anything, you know, I don't use the term spiritually, really. It's a revelation, only in the sense that it's a revealing. You know, this kind of spirituality really is not something that's discovered. It is just something that when all these things, this erroneousness that's layered upon us and in us, particularly these protective mechanisms, and we have a lot of them. We have them in all sorts of hidden, convoluted, complex ways. When they become dissolved, we don't just, you know, they're not the tyranny. They're there. They were there for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, yeah. But then, you know, Gigi now, if that's your name, yeah. So yeah,
yes.
doesn't need them now, and that's the thing. So if you don't need them now, then that you know, have to be prepared to, and I can hear a warrior within you, be prepared to face what it means to dissolve them and what it means to let go of them.
I'm in the fire.
In the fire. Yeah.
Yes.
But that fire is beautiful. You said it at the very beginning, exciting. Yeah, it's scary, it's frightening, it's exciting. Yeah. And you just keep, don't you? You just keep courting it. This is the courting that we talk of. It's courting, you know, that deeper and deeper and deeper. It's a devotion to what's deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah. And it just takes you where it needs you to go, where your soul, if whatever the soul is, I don't know what the soul is, it's a deeper intelligence. This is fantastic. This is really good.
Thank you. So
Beautiful.
just keep going and it'll change, right?
Oh, you just keep going and be careful always be careful of the tendency for the mind to start making a picture of how you're going to be in the future when it's let go. Because boy, oh boy, you know, there's the trickster. Just be wary of the trickster. The only way, you know, that I learned is don't take any notice of the trickster and commit, devote to this, to sincerity, because it does come up. Oh, I'm going to be free. And then what on earth does that mean? Because to the deeper part of you, freedom is one thing. It's a lived moment, if you like, meeting life like this, which actually you're doing now anyway. But to the mind, it says, oh no, freedom, I'm going to not have any more pain ever again. And it's going to be, it paints a rosy picture of it. And it's not a rosy picture. It's, you know, my life is not a rosy picture of the imagination. It's just a capacity to meet what arises within me and without. Yeah. Whereas before there was not the capacity to meet what was within me. My past.
That's why I'm excited.
That's why, exactly. And it's raw. This kind of living is raw because it's not using the usual cloak and dagger, defend and attack or whatever it is, or protection. No, I don't need protection. To not need the protection that we thought we needed, and to not be ludicrous about that, what that means, but to be true. Yeah, no protection. There's no protection here. I don't feel any need to protect myself because, well, there's nothing really here to protect. Very good. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Very reassuring. Thank
Beautiful.
you, Bobby.
Beautiful. Christine.
Hi, everyone. When you ask the question, what keeps us, I'm using different words, what keeps us like seeking or trying to get something? And I feel like I see it all the time. Comfort. I want some comfort. And I know how I get it. You know, I'll go have a nice cookie and tea, and it's usually food. It could be a hot bath or something, but I don't always have time for that. I need something quick. I don't have time for, I see the pattern. I'm very much aware of it. I've tested it out in different ways, and I'll tell myself things like, well, why don't you just sit with it for a while and see what happens? You can always have that later. Just see what happens if you just let it be and don't go seeking for that. Don't go towards it. A lot of things can happen. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll wait a half hour and then I'll have it. I'm like, okay, see, I still want it. So it doesn't work. And then another thing that happens once in a while.
Do you have a clock that you time it with?
Yes, I have timed it. Yes.
No, maybe you should just push it. Keep pushing the minute. I'll give it another minute, another minute, another minute, another minute.
Well, a couple times where I completely forgot that I wanted it. And I'm like, oh, I forgot I wanted it. I better go get it.
Oh.
I don't let it go. Well, a couple times I have, but sometimes it's like I want it. So
Christine, really.
I'm trying to get behind the comfort, like you're saying what's really, I mean, I have everything to make me comfortable. In fact, I have too much. And so my mind, it really, what am I really seeking?
Yes, answer that question. Honestly, to yourself. Right.
What am I really seeking?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just acceptance of myself as I am. I'm not sure.
Good one.
Just accepting what is. It doesn't matter if I eat the cookie and tea or not, or chocolate or whatever, but I've used that all the time. Oh, this doesn't matter what I do with it, because that's not really what it's about.
What is it about?
I mean, it's not about the chocolate or the cookie or that, but that does give me comfort. It definitely does give me comfort. No question about it. I do. My body does relax.
Also, no. So just point number one. Why can't you just be rid of this particular one once and for all, and accept yourself, even with the cookie reaching?
I can
just drop that as a thing. Completely.
Oh, like it doesn't matter. Well, I usually say, oh, so what if I ate, half a box of cookies or something? So what?
Well, no, I don't mean in terms of so what. I mean, it doesn't matter. I accept myself fully. I have done that. Yeah, I mean, deeper than the superficial level, because we're trying to stay at the deepest here. Yeah. Is that possible for you? regardless. Maybe you'll eat so much you'll turn into a fatty. Maybe.
I
Yeah.
don't think
And
so.
will you, can you accept yourself even if that happens? Because there's a tendency to be austere. Yeah, it's got to look like something, it's got to appear like something, or it's not good enough. And what you're trying to get to is this habitual tendency, this patterning that goes, it's not good enough, and that I'm not good enough. It's not good enough, I'm not good enough. But because that's what you just said, to accept myself fully, regardless of what I'm doing. So you're not going to find it in what you're doing. Well, so why bother stopping what you're doing? Look for it somewhere else.
Oh.
Well, yeah, what I mean is deeper. I don't mean in
Yeah,
some
okay,
other
I'm like,
form of
oh.
behavior. I mean not on the behavioral level. We look to the behavioral level. This is what I'm saying. Prior to the problem is I keep reaching for the cookie jar. No, that's the problem at the end of the track. You know, we're going to come back, and back a bit more to this. If the problem, and the problem is for many people, in fact, for all of us in a way, why can't I just accept myself, and ipso facto, myself is kind of the world right here as this?
Maybe I'm feeling, I had to prove to myself or prove to the world growing up, had to go to school.
Yeah, you had to, yeah.
Had
There
to
you
do
go.
this. So, okay, I got the stamp of approval there. I'm accepted there, but now you have to make a certain amount of money. You have to look a certain way. You have to be a certain personality, all this.
Well, you did have a history of the Catholic Church as well,
12 years. 12 years. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is which is the stamp of approval. Seeking the stamp of approval that's actually taken from you as an inherent right. I'm not completely anti it, but I am completely anti it actually, because it takes our ability to be our own authority, our own stamp of approvalness, if you like, as if we need such a thing, which is a ridiculous idea in the first place, quite honestly, but it's given it to an external authority, i.e. the church. We give it away to all sorts of beings, and we give it to parents and to religious leaders particularly. And then after a while, by and by, we become so habituated like monkeys to that very patterning that we don't need them anymore because we do it to ourselves. Hair shirt, we do it to ourselves, and you're doing that to yourself, and to a certain extent. I mean, that's not you particularly, we all do it to ourselves, because we invent or we internalize some of those players, and then they become almost unconscious players within our psyche, and then we feel the need to measure up to them. If I do this, I get this. If I do this, I get this. But it's all in the imagination, so it's never fulfilled. It's never fulfilled ever, because you're almost seeking a ghost, or you're trying to appease a ghost. And it's not about, the thing with that is it's never satisfied, because it's not designed to be satisfied. The whole of the mechanism construct is not designed to be satisfied, because that's the end of it. The seek and find, the seek and find, the seek and reassure, if you do this behavioral modification stuff that we go through, if you do this, you get the brownie points, you get the reward, you get the love, you get the acceptance. And then it fails, and you do it again. You do it again, because it's not about actually being embraced into the unconditional. It's about staying in that conditionality. So in a way, you're doing that to yourself, which is what you've recognized.
I'm doing it to myself, and sometimes I'm consciously doing it to myself, because sometimes I'm like, well, if I go to this family event or whatever, then I'm accepted and loved. If I don't go, that means I'm ousted out. I need to show up, or I need to be, instead of just going and because I want to go. I do want to go too. I do enjoy it, but sometimes it's like I play the game. It's like I know I'm playing the game. I know but
why? So why do you do that?
well, the society, I mean, I don't want to isolate all the time either. I can't just live by myself and not be in society.
And you go into society and not play the game, and just be your whole Christine, just be the whole Christine without getting so entwined in the mind games. Of course, we don't want to isolate from society, and spirituality and the spiritual seeking has a tendency to isolate us. Of course, sometimes that's necessary because you need to retreat into the cave to untangle some of the ridiculous knots so that then you can go back. I mean, I don't interact that much with society, but when I do interact with society, damn it, I do it on my own terms. I'm not interested in becoming embroiled or entangled in anybody else's mind trip. Neither am I defensive or paranoid about it. I just don't tend to leave myself when I go out there. I don't leave myself because I am, but I have cultivated this because I'm not prepared to pay homage or devote to that mechanism anymore. Whereas you still a feeling that mechanism is still like, maybe it's giving you something. There's no judgment here about whether it is. There's only judgment by you about whether it is.
Well, sometimes
I've been through this before. I see you as a whole unit, a whole thing. You see yourself as divided up.
Well, sometimes it feels it's necessary to do some of those things. Let's say I'm at work and there's certain expectations you have to meet. And so in order to meet those expectations, I need to work at a certain level, I have to be speeded up a little. I need to do this, I need to do that. And I'm like, oh, this is like tension.
Well, that's the question is, are you seeking yourself in that? Are you seeking and finding yourself in that, or are you investing yourself in that? Can you stay here and go there? You have the capacity the same way everybody here has the capacity to stay here. It's just because you're here and stay in presence. When you enter into the, having to speed up your game or your output or something like that, can you stay here and do it? Or is there some resentment, or do you get lost in it, or do you get, resentful, or you get, triggered by it, or, these kind of things?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think it's possible to stay here and do it.
I think, knowing you as well as I do, I think we go through this every 2 weeks now.
Okay.
You have more capacity to be here and stop following the little games wherever they're taking you. Yeah. But there's still something that you're getting out of that. But over time, even that is decreasing and decreasing. And I talk about this this is a path of kind of erosion. That's what I talk about, the gradual path where we show up. You still do it. You come to these meetings, yeah, you still honor yourself enough to come to the meetings, to show up, to don't you? So there's something calling you. And I think it's a line for you. It's like, you need to tame that. nobody else can do it for us. Nobody else can tame our monkey. Nobody else can tame the dog within me. Nobody. I've tried to avoid it all my life. And I've been addicted to this and addicted to that. And you know that, endless addictions. And I blamed this and I blamed my dad and I blamed all the world. And I did all of these things. And eventually it just comes down to me. Am I going to give my devotion? Yeah. Where am I going to put it? Where am I really going to put it? Not just playing games with it, but really deeper and deeper and deeper. What am I going to be devoted to? Yeah, one of the ultimate questions, in a way. It's not arriving at somewhere, because the devotion is an ongoing relationship. If there's one relationship we have in life, it's what we devote ourselves to. And it doesn't have to be pious, because we get it wrong, and we have to work it out for ourselves. But this is in you. You know this. This is in you.
Silence. It's true. I know the game so well that I'm really sick of it. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
thank you. Thank you
it
very
makes me
much.
nauseated.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So when the game, when the game, or however it's manifesting in us, get sick of it, is a point where you can't think your way out of it anymore. Yeah. So something has to turn, keep turning. It has to turn to somewhere else. And yes, it can be painful. And yes, it can be like, what on earth is going on? Because it can be quite disorientating. But still, we're called to trust deeper and deeper and deeper, a little more, a little more, a little more. Meet the edges of ourselves. Find out what's going on down there. Okay?
okay, thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Linda, hi.
Hi, everyone. Linda from Belgium.
Oh, hi. Yes, of course. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Well, what keeps me in my ego mind is the fear and control around my son. And I know a mother said to me, to care for someone is to let them go through their own pain. But it feels so cold.
Cold.
I struggle with that.
Right. What do you mean it feels cold? It feels uncaring, you mean?
Yes, yes.
So what? So you've associated caring with what?
Protection.
So protecting him and protecting yourself, probably as well.
Of course.
Protecting him from what? From the dangers of the world, or the?
Yes. It's physical. He smokes a lot. When I go to his house, it's smoke. It's and I'm scared that he is going to be ill.
Mm. Mm. And how does and what does that do to you? How does that feel?
Very painful.
And pain, what sort of pain? What is that pain? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it anger? Is it panic? Is it terror? Is it, what?
That depends from time to time. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's more than fear.
Mm. How old is he?
40.
Oh, 40.
Yes.
40.
Yes.
Linda,
I know.
Linda. Mm. Oh, okay. So,
Is my only son is the only thing I have, and my mother, she has Alzheimer's, so we
okay.
are the only two people in my life.
Yeah. I see. So it has it's quite weighty. It has a lot of weight, has a lot of investment. Yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot invested in this. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. And how is he? What is he is he free? Is he good? Is he happy?
No, happy, I can't say happy, no. He lives all the time by himself.
Yeah.
And in his free time, it's only fishing, fishing, fishing.
Is that what he wants to do? Is that what he likes doing? Fishing?
Yes.
So if you were faced with letting him go, what does that can you I mean, letting him go is not a physical action. Letting him go is an emotional, energetic, psychic action. As much about you as it is about him.
I don't know what you mean. But letting him go, not physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not,
Yeah.
there's still a relationship, of course. There's a, huge relationship. But I mean, finding somewhere in yourself, finding a place within yourself where, regardless of letting go of control, the need to control, letting go of Linda's need to control him. Yeah. What does that, can you see that? Is that possible?
Yes, but because he doesn't want to control.
He doesn't want your
It's not
control.
my control. No, no. And I.
You like a fish. Are you Piscean? Are you Pisces?
Pisces?
Yeah, astrology.
No. What? Waterman? No. It's I don't know in English.
Scorpio.
The second month, February.
Oh, Aquarian.
Yes.
So who would you be without control?
Oh, free.
Right. So you want freedom. You want freedom. Well, this is your journey. This is your deepest journey. Yeah, to be able to cut somehow in a good way the cord. Yeah, there's still an umbilical cord connecting you and him. There's still a cord, and I hear it from you that, and from him, that you need to do this somehow. Yeah. And that means that has consequences, because that means that he is allowed, even within himself, to smoke as much as he wants. Yeah. I mean, you know, and it's difficult. Of course, it's difficult. Yeah, we look at our loved ones and see them in self-destructive behaviors. Yeah, and it's not easy. It's really not easy, which is why, you know, one has to be very sensitive around this. But you know what you're saying, what you're bringing here is that the way it is and the way it has been, yeah, this controlling element doesn't serve him, and it doesn't serve you anymore. It doesn't serve, yeah, it did do, maybe it did, but now it doesn't. So something has to change. And if and it has to change in you, because it can't really change in him. Well, it can, of course, but it has to change in you. So this is the game. This is where you've arrived. What does it mean to let him go within Linda? Yeah. And that will bring up things. Yeah. That's where being here. Yeah. Stay here, because the mind will go crazy. Yeah. Mind will go into a spin. Yeah. You can't do this. I can't do that. I'm going to be all alone. He's going to die. I haven't got anybody else in the world. It's just me. Yeah. Mind will go crazy. Yeah. And what I'm saying at this moment is don't follow that. Don't follow. Yeah. Stay true, because it's an honest thing that you're trying to do. You're trying to set him free, and you're trying to set yourself free. Yeah. And then life will take care of, maybe life will take care of itself. Yeah. Hopefully, I hope that it will. It usually does in some way when we go deeper. Yeah. So there's a goodness to what you want to do, but when you do it, and maybe it's just like doing it sitting. Yeah. Sitting on your own quietly, saying, yeah, this coming to presence. Yeah. Not meditation, just being here, saying, I'm going to see what it feels like to allow letting go. See what it feels like. Where does it go? Yeah. Where does it go inside the body? You know, what happens? What fear arises? What thoughts arise? But don't worry. Don't follow them. Yeah. Say, no, I'm coming back. Come back. And just keep doing that in a way. Keep doing that. Yeah. And just allow it. Breathe, like Gigi was saying. Just breathe. Keep breathing. Keep breathing into it, because there'll be a tightness. You know, what desire to tightness. Yeah.
I feel it already in my belly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So when you feel that in your belly, breathe in your belly. Breathe in your belly. Yeah. No solutions. That's what I mean about coming back and coming back. No solutions. You know, these problems that we have, if that's not the right word, but these things, these entanglements, or these manifestations, they've taken, look how long they've taken to come about. Years and years and years and years. Yeah. Probably from when he was really young, this has been growing. Yeah. And he's 40. So that's 40 years. Yeah. In you, 40 years of him, 40 years of the relationship. It doesn't really just get solved like that. It doesn't. It doesn't. You turn around and start seeking the answers or the solutions or the softness slowly. Yeah. Slowly. Forgive it. Forgive yourself. Forgive everything that has come about. Yeah. But not solution seeking. What's the answer? What's the answer? Who knows? Who knows what the answer is? Who knows? There is no answer. There is no answer. Yeah, all there is a softening down, letting go of control. Control is a big one. Control is an issue for all human beings. All of us. Look at it in the world, control. It's all about control. And we have to honor that control, honoring it. Yeah. But maybe it's reached a time in your life where, and his life, we don't need that. Don't need it. There can be something deeper than control. More beautiful. Yeah, more beautiful than control. Because when there's control, there's just a good love. Yeah. Freedom. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, keep going. Always keep going. always keep going. Okay, anybody else? One more person before we close up? Christine just asked whether I could define I am and me. I don't. Me tends to be the construct that we've come to believe as ourselves in these terms. I mean, words are all nebulous. Words are all tricksters. I would, as I've learned on the path, words are prone to misunderstanding. When words, fall out or tumble out of my mouth, by the time they've reached across the universe and landed in your consciousness through your me-ness, through your perceptive ways, generally mean another thing completely. So, my main consideration these days is to resort to silence. I'm thinking of silence quite a lot because it seems to be the answer to so much. So me tends to be the ego self, if that's right, the construct, me, everything that I've become. This perceptive being. And we all have the me. But if you, I am tends to be a more spiritually sort of pointed phrase, I am, rather than it being I am this or I am that, I am me. No, I am. That's where it's used in that context, really. I am, to imply or to suggest or to say, I am consciousness. I am. Not the true nature of consciousness, I think, would be that the I that finds myself in things, in the meanness of things, is a shadow, in a way, a construct, and it's not the true essence of life, which is consciousness, God, whatever one wants to call it, remembering that words are deceptive. So I am is that I am. I mean, these aren't things that I often talk about, because that's not really where my attention goes in these, it titillates the mind a little bit too much. It speaks to the intellect a little bit too much. I let the spiritual teachers like Rupert Spira or Amodhama talk about such things. I'm you know me, I'm one who I like to get down and dig in the dirt. I'm more a dirt digger than I am a sort of spiritual hyperbole. So let's get our definitions right. Although, it has to be, we have to understand certain things. But I've found there's more transformation when we come together and dig around in the dirt prior to, the lotus growing. And if we can clear out some of the stuff that seems to have gathered in the dirt, in the mud, and clear out the garden, then what is true tends to start arising naturally. And that's not a lazy way of being. In fact, it's the opposite. I find intellectualism in spirituality to be a little bit tedious, because it stimulates the mind, and that which stimulates the mind is not really just it's useful, and philosophy is useful, and spiritual philosophy is useful, and I can speak it like the next person if I want to, but there's more juice down in the dirt, where we've all got layers and layers and layers and layers. We've all been layered by, what we've been led to believe is true. What we've been led to believe is true about ourselves, and what we've been led to believe is true about the world, covered up with beliefs and wounds and traumas and, ideas and impressions and perceptive misjudgments and all of these entanglements that define our lives for seemingly, for most people, forever, until one day we're whisked off back to consciousness, the consciousness that we came from in the first place. So I like to spend my time untangling the me, the idea of me, the idea that we have that tends to fixate around the me, and to loosen that construct up, to loosen our ideas around the constructed self up, so that something else, something more true, more deep, maybe more loving, maybe more kind, maybe more open, maybe a little less judgmental, can flow through us, because there's a river inside each of us. same river flows through each of us, which is an amazing consideration. It's not particular, it's nothing special about anything, nothing special about anybody. Same river flows through us. Capacity to keep on removing our clothes, jumping into the river, or allowing the river to jump into us, whichever way one thinks it is, seems to be the most beautiful thing that one can do. So that probably hasn't answered your question, but it's about as good as you're going to get. And that brings us to the end of another beautiful session. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate your, thank you. I do appreciate your, jumping into this and experimenting with me and with us. And I hope something good came of it, something deeper, some nuance, some healing, something good. I'll send out the recording this afternoon. YouTube will be on, the video will be on YouTube. It's unlisted, so just for your eyes only. And an audio recording, please download it so I can clear space on my Zoom. Otherwise, 2 weeks' time, we'll be here, and you either will be here or you won't be here. Either way, be well, be blessed, be free, be true. Keep the sincerity on the path. It's all I ask of you. Be sincere. That's all that matters, is sincerity. Screw the results. Be sincere. All right, my loves. I'll see you soon. Take care and be well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.